Welcome to TwoQuestions.tv. I'm Susan Baroncini-Moe. Joining me again today is Sandra Joseph, who spent nearly a decade playing Christine in Phantom of the Opera. She actually still holds the record for the longest running female star on Broadway, and now she's on a mission to empower other people's voices with this book, Unmasking What Matters, 10 Life Lessons from 10 Years on Broadway. Hi, Sandra. Welcome back to the show.
Hi, Susan. I'm so happy to be talking to you again.
Oh, I'm glad you came back. We had such a good time talking about forest bathing last time, and I am so excited about your book. I just love it, and I found so many different facets of it interesting and would love to talk to you about it like for an hour or two, but we only have 15 minutes. I only get 2 questions. So let's talk about perseverance, because you actually, I now know, did not get the part of Christine right away. And I was so intrigued by that. And you persevered, you learned from your previous auditions, then you got your part with a slightly different audition. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so for anyone who's going after a goal or a dream or has a vision for themselves and that hasn't quite happened yet, I hope that they will take heart in hearing my story, because I went to New York with a 5-year plan to make it happen, you know, get some work and be able to support myself. 4.5 years into that 5-year plan, when I was almost ready to call it quits and move back to the Midwest, I was living on a friend's sofa, completely broke, and thinking it's never going to happen. I've been just following the wrong path in life. And that's when I got the opportunity to audition for Christine in Phantom. And the first audition I had, I was so nervous that I was kind of frozen, just overwhelmed. And I did not I did not give my best performance in that first one. But they saw something in me, so they put me in the chorus on the national tour. I got to be in the ensemble, but I didn't get the starring role on Broadway. A year later, I was given a second chance. The second audition, I was so determined not to be frozen that I pushed and I was over the top. So I blew it again.
Yeah.
And luckily, they gave me one last shot. And that third audition, I had really, in some ways, let go of it. I thought it's never going to happen for me. So I might as well go in there and try to actually enjoy standing on that Broadway stage and getting to be Christine in this one moment. Mm. And because I think I wasn't clinging to it and trying so desperately, my energy was very different. I was able to inhabit the moment. I was much more authentic. I kind of dropped the mask that I was putting on my own face, and I was just more real, and I connected. And in that third audition, I finally got the part that changed my life and career.
It's so amazing. And you talk about, I mean, this book is really about authenticity and honesty. And one of the things I actually love, and this, I gave you a hint of this before we started recording the interview. The thing I love about this book, well, one of many, is the exercise. You have exercises in this book, and I love a book with homework. So that's the first piece. But what I love most is that these aren't the exercises of a coach. So, and I suspect that they're exercises that are born of a lifetime of learning and of fusing the work of acting and the work of personal development. And so the exercises are new to me, and I've been doing this like 20 years. Like there's nothing new to me. So it was so exciting to me, because the idea of unmasking is something I personally struggle with. And because I was raised that we have a facade and we show, you know, we're the perfect family. We show that we're the perfect people and we do everything properly. And this is how we look. And so I've been told by my husband, by friends, like, I don't really always show who I really am. It's really about like the facade of perfection. And I find it very difficult to break that and let it go. And I haven't had a chance to do a lot of the exercises yet, and I need a quiet space in which to really dive in, because I think they will really helped me. So I wanted, because it is such a deep reflection on authenticity, on honesty, on dropping that mask, for our listeners and viewers who perhaps are waiting for their book to arrive, and they should be. I make a point to our listeners, and you should be. What do you recommend to people? Just a couple of like takeaways from today to help them tap into their true selves and start to drop that mask, be more authentic.
Such a great point you raise, and I think so many of us can relate to that. We do often, we're trained to wear a certain persona out in the world, and yet we are in the age of authenticity, if ever there was one. It's become such a buzzword now because we're finally waking up to the fact that, hey, everybody's got their stuff. And when we want to connect. I mean, Seth Godin says we're in the connection economy. What people flock to now is connection. And there's no way to get to connection without vulnerability, without authenticity. So if we really want to have the intimacy in our relationships and the connection in our business relationships too, we've got to begin to let go of trying to show up a certain way. And interestingly, in my case, it was dropping the trying to do it perfectly that finally made me successful. So, excuse me, for everyone listening and watching, a simple thing. I'm so sorry. Authenticity.
Be real. Yay.
This happened to me during Broadway performances too. At times when you're trying to sing and do this at the same time, very tricky.
Oh yes, I believe it.
You get a tickle. One thing that we can all start to do is just start to have a dual awareness, and this is something we do in acting, of course, to recognize, as actors, we are trained to pay attention to our emotions, so that when I'm in the midst of any kind of emotion, there's another part of my mind that's in the witness place that's noticing, how does this feel in my body? What's going on? Because I know I'm going to have to recreate it on stage, and I don't want to force and fake that. I want it to be organic and come from the inside out. If it's from the outside in, the audience will feel a disconnect. So begin noticing when you are really feeling 100% yourself, and to see what that feels like when you're talking to your best friend or your partner or somebody with whom you are completely genuine. This is an actual exercise you can do called conversation observation. Just notice, this is me being completely me. I'm not trying to show you a version of myself right now. I'm just me. And then when you're in a slightly uncomfortable or high stakes situation and you feel yourself kind of posturing in some way, you can begin to like feel in your body what it felt like when you were completely natural, and start to gesture the same way. Your tone of voice becomes your mannerisms. All of that can start to come from the inside out, so that more and more you're dropped into your essential self, into your body, and just being completely comfortable in your own skin.
That's so interesting. What a great one for people to take away and try. I love that. I love that. Well, Sandra, where can folks find you?
Oh, thank you. I'm at sandrajoseph.com, and I'm on all the social places you would expect. And the book can be found with special bonus gifts at sandrajoseph.com/unmasking.
Perfect. And we'll have links to all of that in the show notes for today. Thank you so much for coming back on the show.
Thank you, Susan. It's so great to be with you again. Thanks, everybody.
You're welcome to come back anytime. It's such a joy to have you on the show.
Thank you.
All right, viewers, here's the book. We're going to have all those links that Sandra mentioned in the show notes for today. That's down here, down below. So make sure you get your copy. Highly recommend. This is not one of those books that has the same stuff you've read 1,000 times. This is unique. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.